Welcome to Folk Tales, a podcast series for anyone who loves spending time on, in or by the water. I'm Dominic Zammit, Director at Boatfolk, and throughout this series I'll be speaking with guests from our coastal communities to hear their stories and to learn what life on the water means to them. I hope you enjoy listening.
Welcome to Folk Tales. My name is Marisa and I'm the Marketing and Events Executive for boatpoint, part of the boatfolk family. And we look after the boat sales and boat brokerage. Today, we're going to be joined by Tim Norris, who's one of our senior yacht brokers here at the boatpoint Hamble office. Hi, Tim.
Hi there, how you doing?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Thank you very much for joining me today. Just like to find out a little bit more about what you do in your day-to-day work. First things first, can you tell us a little bit more about you, your background, where you grew up, and what you've been up to, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my background, I've been around boats pretty much my whole life. I grew up locally here in Warsash on the Hamble River, but originally from Birmingham. Not that anyone could tell because I've lost my accent. That one disappeared. But I've always really been around boats with where I've lived, and that's kind of been my hobby and my fun, which led to this job.
Okay, so what, have you always been local to the area then?
Yeah, I've always been fairly local since a youngest age, and sailing around here, and that's kind of always been my sort of hobby.
Okay, nice. So you said about sailing. How did you start getting into sailing, and kind of what prompted you?
I learned actually to sail through the Sea Scouts and the local sailing club. Just started off with the little tiny dinghies that you see out of the water often in no wind. And from there, it was good fun. All my best memories, certainly from that age, are all on the water. That actually led to me getting really into water sports as a whole. So, anything on the water you'll probably find me doing, and eventually led to my degree at Plymouth University. So everything I talk about seems to be about water, or the boats at least.
I love it. Proper water baby. So what sort of hobbies and things do you do on the water? Are you into, when you said about doing water sports, are there any particular sports that you do on a regular basis?
Yeah, it's all weather dependent. So if there's no wind, I'm paddleboarding or out on a motorboat. If there's a little bit of wind, I'll be out sailing. And if there's a lot of wind and rain, I'm normally out on a windsurfer or wing foil. So if whatever the weather's chucking out, I'll find something to do in that weather, certainly.
Right, well, makes sense. Certainly makes sense how you got into yacht broking, that's for sure. So how long have you worked for Boatpoint now?
So I joined Boatpoint formally in August last year, 21, but I've been yacht broking for a previous company, Y-Boat, since April 2016, where I started as a trainee right at the bottom.
Nice. Oh, and how was that being a trainee, being a newbie?
It was certainly a learning curve, coming in and having to learn about the whole process from start to finish, from listing to negotiating, selling and completing. And certainly a whole new world to get into. But it was very exciting. It certainly didn't put me off. It took me a little while to get my first boat sold, a couple of months, but I think that's normal for everyone, hopefully.
Yeah. A couple of months is pretty impressive stuff as well. So for anybody who might be thinking about getting into yacht broking, or they're just sort of generally interested in learning a little bit more about your day-to-day life, can you give us a little bit of an overview of what a day in the life of a yacht broker kind of looks like? Yeah,
every day seems to be different. I know a lot of people probably say that about their job, but it certainly is the case in ours. We try to plan it out a little bit, but it never seems to go to plan. But generally, we'd come in, we'd start off with a good cup of tea because I think get anything done. Plan out what viewings or deals we're trying to work on, and through the day, see what sea trials we've got. Like we had one this morning in the office. And then by the end of the day, we're starting to pick up on the inquiries that haven't been dealt with, or looking for listings and typing up boat adverts. So a bit of everything, really. And you never have a set structure, but that's probably what keeps me interested. There's no 2 days are the same.
Yeah, no, I love having days like that at work. There's a lot of variation in marketing and events as well, but brokerage sounds really, really interesting. So what does a great day look like for you then?
A great day for me would definitely be when we get an opportunity to get out on the water with customers. If there's a bit of sunshine, that will certainly help, but often isn't the case. I think a lot of people, the shared passion is actually being on the water rather than just talking about the boats. So yeah, any opportunity to get out on the water, we fight for it. We jump for it here in the office, and you'll find it doesn't matter what it is, sailing boat, motorboat, whatever. Just getting out there is actually what really makes it quite nice. Yeah.
It's all about getting out on the water. So when you are out and about, what's your favorite kind of boats that you like to get out on when you get involved on the water?
When it comes to work, absolutely anything. But for me, it's more the sailing front. I definitely prefer the sailing boats, so especially stuff like races or things that go quite fast. That always gets me going. Something that's quite powerful, and you can push the boat and actually have a bit of fun. I'm not the slow pace sort of life person generally, so cruising doesn't always sit that well for me, but I'm sure I've got many years ahead of me to do that in my later life.
I imagine not sitting back and cruising around too much is probably one of the things that adds to you being so good at your job as well. You probably need a bit of that passion and drive every day. So then what is one of your most favourite parts of your job, I should say?
Yeah, just being around boats, or the passion you share with people. There's some absolutely brilliant stories that come in from people that have done some amazing voyages or trips or experiences, whether that's locally here in the UK or further afield, and actually be able to get on and do those trips yourself. They're the sort of things that you really pick up on, and just that kind of top off how a really good role this is to do.
Yeah. And then I guess on the flip side, really, is some of those challenging and the more challenging days. How do you deal with those?
Yeah, we absolutely have challenging days. Things either go wrong in negotiations and deals, or come up on things. And it's just managing and dealing with those situations. I find actually just taking a breath, stepping back from it, assessing what needs prioritizing in that situation really does help. They're probably the biggest things to deal with. There's obviously a lot of emotion that goes with purchasing a boat. It's a luxury item, and you want to make sure the customer gets it right, and you help them through the whole process. So making sure you're professional the whole time is also really important, and just remember to keep that hat on in the right way as such.
Yeah. So when you're speaking with the customers, are there any needs and wants that you feel as though you've come across kind of multiple times so far in your career?
Yeah, it's a lot of it is trying to find the best option for them within their budget. So if they've come in and they've told you what they've got, and actually trying to help them find that right boat. And eventually, with pretty much every deal, something might come up that makes it a little harder for them to want to go ahead with the purchase. Something's come up on a survey or whatnot, and actually working through them and reassuring them that actually, in the end of the day, it's going to be all right. It's going to need a way around thinking of it. They're often the hardest points, and trying to manage that. But every deal is possible. There's always an outcome that's generally good for everybody. So trying to find that one, certainly.
Yeah. So it's really just working out what the needs are, and that's, I guess, what is it? The needs that you come across tend to be similar, or, because what we wanted to get at really is whether or not there were similar issues that you see coming up repeatedly.
A little bit. We see with our site, we're generally a sailing boat brokerage. We do a lot more sailing than power. So some of the related issues that come up with owning a sailing boat over a power boat would probably be the more common thing for us. And it's just working through that. So, and a case of also just understanding and communication, they're one of the bigger factors to deal with. So making sure everyone's got all the information so they all make informed, correct decision, and hopefully moving forward. Yeah.
Great. So for anybody who, and any of our listeners out there who might be looking to make their first purchase for a boat, do you have any tips for them? Where do they start?
Yes. So buying a first boat can be very daunting, a complicated process. I would strongly suggest getting to know your broker. Your local broker can make a lot of difference, as they really can work with you and for you to find the right boat. When it comes down to which make and model, you just need to get on board a few, actually go and sit in them, sit in the cockpits, the saloons, work out if it's going to do what you want out of the boat. And then finally, it's paperwork, really. It's ever so important to make sure you got the right paperwork there, check that's all correct, check you got the correct VAT status, RCD, etc. And then you should be fine. After that process, having the surveys and things, they all can be worked out through your broker with the vendor. But the main thing is just make sure you're comfortable with what you're getting, and it should be fine.
Yeah. So it's all about finding that perfect boat, really, and matching people with that.
Yeah, as best you can. I mean, I don't think there's a perfect boat out there for anyone, because everyone's got such different requirements out of it. So yeah, finding the one that is going to suit your needs the best within your budget. It might take a little bit of time, where you might stumble across it quickly, but once you do find it, generally things go pretty smoothly. But just doing those huge background checks beforehand can be sensible.
Yeah. Well, perfection is always hard to find, isn't it? So what about you? What are your favourite features? You said that you really like sailing boats and racing. What are your sort of favourite features that you go for when you're looking for a good sailing boat?
For me, it's something that's exciting to sail. I actually find the smaller racing yachts a lot more fun and interactive over the larger ones, which look much more impressive on the water, but actually they become a little bit more tedious to sail. So for me, something smaller and exciting can actually be really good. And if you're looking for a race boat in particular, if you do happen to come across a little bandit boat on the ratings, that's always a nice little one to have up your sleeve as well, that you know you're going to do really well in the results. But anything really, it can be of any age, not just these brand new modern super sexy looking boats, but also some of these older ones. They do sell very well. They got the design right the first time, and they often can't be improved. So there's lots of things out there that would always appeal to me for what I want for out of the boat.
Yeah, love it. Inspiring me, Tim, definitely. So yeah, I guess the last point really that I'd just like to ask you really is what advice you would give to any person out there who's looking to perhaps start a career in boat brokerage and yacht brokering.
Yeah, I think just go for it. It's a great career, very rewarding to be around such interesting and a passionate industry that is boats. Broking's a great way to meet people. You get to have a lot of conversations with a lot of interesting people, and meet some great connections then, and can get yourself on the water as well with owners of boats. So it's a great one to go for. It's rewarding. It's great career progression, moving up, selling into new boats, which can be exciting. It shows as well. So I would encourage everybody to do it if there was enough boats out there. But it's certainly a good one to get into.
Yeah, it's definitely, for me, I can certainly echo that. It's very, very rewarding being around passionate people and being close to the water. So thank you very, very much for your time this afternoon, and for just talking to us a little bit about what you do in your job, what's inspired you, and helping us understand a little bit more about what it means to be a yacht broker. So thank you so much, Tim, and I will speak to you soon. Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Hope you enjoyed this episode of Folk Tales, and you join us for the next episode soon.